the rituals of a papal passing. The Vatican's flags have been lowered to half-mast, the doors of St Peter's Basilica half closed, as 9 days of official mourning begins. Inside, as tradition dictates, the Pope's formal living quarters have been sealed, just hours after his death from a stroke and irreversible heart failure. Pope Francis had appeared frail following his discharge from hospital in March. He'd spent more than a month there, being treated for double pneumonia, but he delighted crowds with an appearance on Easter Sunday.
Buona Pasqua.
I felt even more blessed that he'd come out so close to the end, and I saw him.
We knew he was sick, but nobody expected that he was going to die the day after. So for us, as Italian, as Roman, we feel even more sorry.
The Pope was born in 1936 in Argentina. Today they worshipped him there as a man of the people.
The Pope of everyone has died. The Pope of all humanity, who insisted 1 and 1,000 times that there must be room for everyone.
Francis's views on social justice saw him dismissed by Argentina's president, Javier Milei, as an embarrassing communist. In response to his death, President Milei said, despite differences, knowing his kindness and wisdom was an honour. The US president also clashed with Pope Francis over their differing views on immigration. But Donald Trump, who says he'll attend the funeral, ordered flags be flown at half-mast in tribute to the late pontiff.
He was a good man, worked hard, he loved the world, and it's an honour to do that.
King Charles expressed his condolences, saying our heavy hearts have been somewhat eased, knowing the Pope was able to share an Easter greeting. Vladimir Putin said,
"This is a man who treated Russia in an extremely positive manner. I can say that for sure, and we will remember this."
The Pope used his final address to again call for peace in Gaza. Since war broke out, he spoke every day to a Catholic priest in the embattled territory. And today he was remembered by Palestinians.
I like the way he standed with Palestinians and his courage to talk around the world about us.
And across the Holy Land.
In life, the Pope was often seen as bucking tradition. He aimed to project a more humble image. But even though he'll be buried in a simple tomb outside of the Vatican, much of the pomp and ceremony surrounding his death hasn't changed in centuries.
As his followers mourn a passing which, despite his failing health, has still come as a shock for so many.
While news of the Pope's passing is still sinking in, thoughts are already turning to what comes next. Europe correspondent Zoe Ford is live for us in Vatican City tonight. Zoe, what do we know about the arrangements for the funeral?
Well, cardinals have been in a meeting here this morning, Jeremy, discussing that very thing. We have heard now from them that the funeral will be held at 10 a.m. local time here in Rome on Saturday. That is 6 p.m. Eastern time in Australia. We've also heard that from Wednesday morning local time, the body will be brought here to St Peter's Basilica behind me, where it will lay in state. And tens of thousands of people are expected to queue up to watch it, including world leaders. Now, we've also just found out and received in the past hour, Jeremy, the first pictures of Pope Francis. We can see him lying in red papal vestments, holding a rosary in a simple wooden casket, as was his request. And this was filmed inside his private chapel inside Vatican City. And the cardinals who are already in Rome, some who raced here straight away, others who live here, are also in the chapel offering their prayers.
Zoe, the cardinals will soon come together for another very specific task, and that is to elect a new pope.
Yes, the cardinals under the age of 80, that's 135 of them, are eligible to vote in the papal conclave. It's expected to be held between 15 and 20 days after the date of death, which would put it in early May. And that is a secret process inside the Sistine Chapel inside St Peter's Basilica. Now, 100 of those cardinals were actually personally elevated to the position of cardinal by Pope Francis, and many of them come from outside Europe, from developing countries. So, Jeremy, it is entirely possible that the next Pope could also be from outside Europe, just as Pope Francis was.
Zoe Ford reporting live from Vatican City.